first series it just didn't work, and then we realized that it was being clicked on a little bit late. I think we were able to square that away, but it's very, very confusing. That's very hard. I didn't deal with that very well. You just assume you can get the plays, and all of a sudden you can't get them in, and it's a little stressful. So we had a hard time hanging on to the ball, and he had a hard time throwing. I think they're pretty slick. I think on both teams probably had a little bit more of a problem with it than you'd like, but we settled in second half and started to run the football better. And they were a little bit different than what we anticipated structure on defense, and we tried to adapt the best that we could. And our defense, I thought, did a great job here in the second half, holding the 3 points. And, obviously, when you turn the ball over, we had 2 turnovers again, a fumble and the interception. One of them was going in to score, so that's unacceptable, obviously. But we just seem to have way too many mistakes, and we've got to rectify that stuff. We can't continue to beat ourselves like that, but I'm very proud of the way they competed.
How difficult was it to game plan with very limited video
With very little knowledge about them, it's hard. Yeah, it is hard. Of course, it's hard for them, for us too, I would imagine. I'm still learning about our own guys offensively. What we can do, what we can't do. And there's certain guys now we can lean on in certain situations. I think now that Nelson Spruce is better, we didn't have him all camp. He was down with a knee, and he's just not coming back. He's done a terrific job for us. He'll continue. He and Tez will continue to be a bigger part in what we do. Very pleased with the efforts of our running backs. But, again, we've got to clean some things up in our protections. Get to us there a little bit. Of course, that's the last thing that is offensively. That's the last thing that gets better, so to speak. And there's a passing league. We have to get better at that real quick.
Coach, you mentioned your 2 running backs. Can you talk about their different styles and how they bring different?
Q is more patient, and because of his size, that's a great advantage for him. When he gets back there defensively, sometimes you don't really know where he is, to be honest with you. And it really works in his behalf, especially in draws, things of that nature. He kind of gets up inside there, and all of a sudden he comes out there, and he has such a great center of gravity. He can run through tackles, as you saw tonight. He's very explosive, quick, but he sees things. Very, very patient runner. Very happy with him. And Watson, he's a load. He's just a load. He runs you over, and he's got the thing about him. He's got great speed. You think he's one of those big guys that can run okay, but he's very fluid, and he's got real serious speed. So I'm very pleased with both of them and their effort. We just continue to lean on these guys as we move forward, I think.
Yeah, Coach, you went early and late and often off to the left side with the lack of scouting availability there to you. What did you see over there that led you to that, and then why did you stick with it?
Our two you mean in the running game?
Yes, sir.
We have our 2 best offensive linemen are over there. Not that the other guys aren't good, but Poole and Damian Mama are one of our captains. They're very, very solid. In the running game, those are big, powerful dudes. They're both, 330 and 310 or 315, and they're confident, very, very confident. We've had a lot of in and out on our offensive line with the right guard and the right tackle. We've had a lot of different combinations. And then we started last week, our center went down. So the center, right guard, and right tackle have been kind of musical chairs. This is the first week that we've been able to get everybody kind of in place. But the left guard and tackle have been there all along. So that we know they're consistent, they're good run blockers, and they do a great job, really do.
Coach, what are your thoughts on Phillips' first start today? How is he?
I felt bad for him. He couldn't get a handle on that ball. He made some mistakes. He had a run check down the goal line and just messed up a little bit. He couldn't hear. The thing would click off and on, and that's for a quarterback who hasn't played, you can imagine how stressful that's got to be for him too. He can't get all the plays, so he's got to guess at some of it, and he's still learning the offense, and then not being able to get a handle on the ball. I'm very pleased with him. Very, very pleased with him. There's some things I know that he wished he could take back, but there's some throws in there that the ball we came out in the second half and decided that we're going to do a pump and go on the outside, and had him clearly beat for a touchdown. He just couldn't. The ball just too slick. That's the way it was. So I am pleased with him. He'll be our quarterback, of course, next week, and he'll grow from this thing. But I think in a little better environment too, he'll play very, very well.
What do you think of his background
Yeah, we're going to talk about that. Yeah, we're going to have a long discussion about that. Yeah, not pleased at all, but not pleased, not pleased. No. You know, I had the two headsets on, so I can't hear anything to speak of, but I could hear the crowd, and that's unusual. So it was exciting. It was. It's a great feeling to play football in San Diego. It just is. I'm in football mecca. You know, San Diego, coaching football, playing in San Diego. Like I've said many times, it just doesn't get better, man. I'm just as happy as can be. So, of course, when we won, so that's all good. I'm thrilled for these kids, these young men, and the opportunity that they have in this league. I really am. What this league is doing for everybody, for all these players, is pretty remarkable. There are a number of guys on that field on both sides of the ball that belong in the NFL, and I think eventually that's going to happen for them. It had a great deal of impact. There are more deep balls and throws down the field that I've gotten into. He just couldn't handle that ball very well, particularly when that rain started later in the game. That did hurt us, yes.
But you still found a way to score touchdowns late or 4-1 and draw. You didn't think it was the late play. Was there any doubt you were going for it first of all?
There was no doubt. That play that we ran, I felt that on the fourth one. That's exactly what we'd run. That's we call it 90 flip. The old 90, we ran that years ago at the Rams and kind of went through the league a little bit. We put two backs in there with Watson at fullback, and we've run the belly to him inside. So with him in there, they squeeze to him, pause, and then you flip it out to the edge. It's just something that was special that we felt would be good in that opportunity. And of course, they lined up with an extra guy over there, so I looked the other way. I didn't see it. Fortunately, he didn't make the play. So they had one more guy over there than we anticipated defensively. So, and he didn't make the play. He paused in there just enough. I was nervous, to say the least, with that. Yeah, you got to go. All bets are off. You're counting on the play fake and the wind back by Watson, like he's got the ball for them to squeeze and tackle him. And the quarterback has his back to that side, so they really can't see if he has the ball or not. And then the back just stands and watch. And that's part of the I guess the sucker part of it. Let them squeeze in, and then we pitch the ball, of course.
And then you got a 37 draw.
We did. I called timeout. There were different coverage-wise than what we've seen a little bit on tape. There were much more man-to-man on tape in our preparation. Against us down there, they get into an awful lot of zone. We do a lot of picks and rubs and drags, and we had that called. I looked out there and I saw their structure, so I didn't want him to take a sack or ball get tipped, and at that point we just needed to get points. So I said, let's run the draw, and of course that's the way it worked out.
Coach, there's always going to be a lot of firsts in this league, but could you describe to us the atmosphere in the locker room afterward, what you said to your team picking up their very first victory in the playoffs?
Well, I congratulated them, of course, in the win, and just told them I was very proud of the resilience and the way they came back in the second half. There was not a lot of talking at halftime. It's very quiet and subdued. We had a couple players speak up. I let them speak and left the locker room, let them deal with it. They understand very clearly the mistakes that we made, and it was just time to, it's kind of enough's enough kind of thing, I guess. And defensively, offensively, holding them 3 points the second half I thought was really good. And I shut them down to, the points in the second half. And of course, I thought that, the offensive line really picked it up in the second half.
Your wife stick this thing out?
Oh yeah, she's right outside. Yeah, wife, kids, grandkids, friends, all the in-laws are out there. The whole Martz clan's out there somewhere.